Hello and welcome to the continuing of my previous tutorial, which is all about water. In this segment, we're going to cover how to make an object interact with water. So here's the water that we created last time, with the domain and the fluid both here. I've just moved the box back to over the domain where it was before. You can do the same by pressing Ctrl Z. Okay, so here's what we baked before. Fluid splashing within the domain. Okay, so I'm just going to move the 3D cursor to above this box, and you're going to want to make sure that it actually lines up with the box on top. I'm going to add a UV sphere. We don't want it to be too big, so move it to about there. Okay, we're going to press I and insert a key on location. This means that this is now an object on the timeline. I'm going to move out to frame 20. I'm going to move this to underneath the cube, press I in location, I'm going to move out to frame 35 and move it back up here. Okay, that's just the animation that this sphere is going to take, and that's going to be interacting with this water as it does that. So now that we've selected the sphere, we're going to click Fluid and Obstacle. Okay, so now everything's set. We just need to select the domain, which is the part that's actually water, and click Bake. Now this is going to bake back from the beginning. You can see that the sphere comes down, and it's going to take a lot longer to bake now, because you can see that now the sphere is interacting with it. That's what's caused this rippling here. There we go. So you'll see that it'll still be stuck within the constraints of this default cube, but it's largely being affected by this sphere, because otherwise it wouldn't have fallen anywhere near as fast. Okay, so it's reached the bottom of the cube there. Usually it's easiest if you just let it bake and just go and watch television or something, because it usually takes a long time to bake if you have things interacting with water, let alone when it's actually just baking by itself. I'll just let this go to about frame 40 so that we can see the sphere come back up through it as well. Now it's important that you move this, what is the water cube back. In our last tutorial we moved it over so that we could see just the water, but if you leave it to the side, then when you try and rebake again, it's going to have problems because the domain's here and the water's over here. So it's easiest if you just press Ctrl Z to just bring that cube back in here. Otherwise, it's not going to work at all, and you might need to start from the beginning if you mess it up too far. It's usually not a good idea to actually delete that cube. So then you're going to encounter problems if you want to, say, add an obstacle. Now obstacles are really useful. You can make them any shape or size. You can make it a little person, make it whatever you want, and you just move it along the timeline to be moving in through where the water is. Okay, so we'll just let it go for about 10 more frames. I'll render out another animation, and I'll just add that onto the end of this on the end of this tutorial, or just add it as a separate video, so you can see what you can actually do just with this sphere. Okay, so I'm just going to end it here. To end it, you just press Escape, and that will keep what you've already baked, and it will just not worry about baking anything else. So just press Escape. There you go. Okay, so you can see that we're on frame 35, which looks like that. So hold down Shift and press the down key, and that'll go to frame 1. And we're going to select the cube, pull the cube out again, and press Alt A. There you go. So you can see the effect that this sphere has on it. It pushes everything out to the corners. Then when that gets down to the bottom, then everything's still stuck around the sides when it comes back up. this little bit here that's stuck on top. Gets pushed off just there. So the physics engine in Blender is actually really good. If you're going to render this, you want to go into editing, add a modifier and add a subsurface to this and set smooth, just so it looks a little better. If we were to render this, you'll see that there's your water, your UV sphere through it. Now I'll actually render out this whole animation and probably another one as well, just so you can see what the final product would be. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have a request for another tutorial on fluids or anything at all, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. Thank you for watching today's tutorial.
That was